Hello, everybody. Just going live here on Facebook as well. All right. I think we're live on both places. All right. Happy Thursday evening, everyone. If you are joining me on here live, say hi. Hello. All right, everyone. So just wanted to come on tonight and talk to you a little bit about some of my favorite healthy back to school tips and tricks. So these can be applied to, you don't have to be going back to school to take advantage of some of these, but definitely if you get kiddos going back into the school system, or just going back into more activity in general. It's really great to kind of follow some of these, and I'm going to try to pack a lot into about 20 minutes here tonight, 20 to 25 minutes. So if you have any questions about anything that I'm going over tonight, because I'm not going to get into too much detail about some of them, but absolutely feel free to reach out. You can comment below or DM me, and I'd be happy to elaborate any more on any of it. So I'm just going to break this down tonight into a couple of different categories. So I'm going to talk about food first, because I always talk about food first. That's where I always like to start. I'm also going to get into a few supplements. So keep in mind, I can't recommend specifics because I don't know you. I don't know your situation, and I'm not working directly one-on-one with you. But these are pretty much general supplements that I would recommend for most people. And then I'm going to go into a little bit of essential oil support. So things that we can use to support our kiddos and our households going back into that busier time of year and just, cold and flu season. All right. So as far as nutrition goes, there are a few fundamentals that I always like to recommend for people, and especially for your kids going into long days back at school, and just being out and doing lots of activities, things like that. So I like to prioritize protein. I think this is really important to keep us satiated, to help with muscle repair, helps us to stabilize our blood sugar. So I personally, as a grown woman, I like to aim for at least a good 20 to 25 grams of protein per meal. And I always like to make sure meals kind of have that PFF component: protein, fat, and fiber. And that's just going to really help you to keep your blood sugar balanced. It's going to help keep you full until your next meal as well, so you're not feeling the need to always go be snacking on grabbing that next sugar fix or that next caffeine fix. So increasing protein is really great for our kids going into school. So we want to start out with a nice higher protein breakfast. So a few ideas for that are, if you've caught any of my previous posts where I posted our pancakes that we make, always our oven pancake. So this is chock full of eggs, and it's got some almond flour in it as well. You can scroll back through and find that. It's really, really great and easy thing to have for breakfast. I like to make a big batch, and it'll last us for a couple of days. I slice it up and then just warm it in the toaster. It's a great breakfast with some fruit. You could add some yogurt to that too if you want, but it's really, really easy one to have on hand. I like to kind of prep a little bit in advance on the weekend, and then if I have to replenish throughout the week a little bit. But it's nice to wake up and just have something quick and ready to go. Another really great one is chia pudding. Chia pudding is really high in fiber, and it is super simple to make. I've posted recipes for chia puddings back on my page as well, and definitely reach out if you need some ideas. Super easy to make. You can let it sit overnight and have it ready to go in the morning. Top it with a bit of granola, some nice fresh fruit. Always a really good one to go to have on hand, or to make in advance as well. Homemade granola with some yogurt. So you could do like a nice grass-fed, full-fat grass-fed dairy yogurt, or if you're not eating dairy, you can go ahead and use like a coconut yogurt or something like that. Super easy to make it homemade, but there's some pretty good brands out there now of alternative yogurts as well. So those are really great to use too. Smoothies. Smoothies can be really great. And what I like to do, I actually like to start most of my mornings with a smoothie. And even in the wintertime, I just change up the ingredients I use, and I will use like a room temperature to even a warmer water. That doesn't appeal to everybody, but if you do like that, then absolutely, you can kind of warm them up in the winter with some spices as well, some ginger, some cinnamon. But this time of year, it's still fairly warm out. We're starting to cool down here a bit now, but smoothies can easily, I like to throw all my ingredients into the blender the night before. And then I just add my liquid in the morning and blend it up, and it's ready to go. So that's a really great quick thing that you can have, and great for kids too. So you can add lots of nuts and seeds into that, some avocado, things like that for protein. Collagen powder is great especially if you've got older kids. You can even look at using a good protein powder as well to up that protein content. Even things like Bliss Bites or Power Balls are probably a better breakfast option than them having something, well, they're definitely a better breakfast option than having something like a boxed cereal or more refined grains, because you can pack those full of good fats and protein as well. I just posted a nice blueberry lemon Bliss Ball recipe yesterday that's absolutely delicious. So that with you could do that with like an avocado toast or something like that. Even that with some yogurt, and as a quick breakfast before you get out the door. So those are a few ideas. Of course, eggs are always a go-to. It's an amazing breakfast to have, eggs with some veggies and some maybe a piece of whole grain, or like an almond flour toast or something like that. It's really great to have. You can even have leftovers for breakfast, like, if you've got leftover salmon, something like that. But the first ideas are probably a little bit more appealing to kids. So make sure you're getting lots of protein in, and include that in your kids' lunches as well. Make sure that they've got a good source of protein in their lunch to give them that power to stay through the afternoon. So like grass-fed beef pepperoni sticks are a favorite of ours. I actually like to make up some meatballs or buy frozen grass-fed beef meatballs and add those, just warm those up and then put those in the lunch, good in a thermos as well, with maybe a little bit of like a quinoa pasta and some sauce. Sliced turkey, chicken, leftovers, things like that. Those are really great to add in for protein too for the lunch. Even if your kids, if they like tofu, you can kind of pre-cook some tofu seasoned and have that in there too. Because we do have to, most places have to be pretty careful of nuts, so you can't always send nuts as a source of protein, but there are lots of other options. Making sure that you're cutting back on refined sugar. So refined sugar is really, really hard on the immune system. It actually depresses the immune system. Each time you have refined sugar, it will depress the immune system for like 5 hours. So not great if you're having something sugary and sweet for breakfast, and then maybe like a sugary granola bar snack for during morning snack, and then lunch. You're kind of keeping your immune system depressed or lowered the entire time. So we want to try to cut back on those as much as possible. Just use the sweetness that's in your food naturally. And if you do want to add some sweetener, try to use more of a whole food sweetener like honey, maple syrup. You can use a little bit of monk fruit or stevia if you're sweetening up like a beverage or something like that. I don't like to go overboard with those ones, but they are an option just to give that little bit of a sweet taste. Make sure you're including good fats. So fats build the brain. Our kids, everybody needs good fats for hormones to function properly, for our brains to build and repair and function properly too. So things like avocado, coconut oil, olive oil is a really great one. Fatty fish is really great, or if you're not a fan of fish, I highly recommend taking a high quality fish oil. Nuts and seeds are really great sources of healthy fats. So just making sure you're kind of getting some of that in with each meal as well. So lots of fiber. We want to keep our digestive systems moving properly to ensure that our immune system stays strong, because we want to keep happy guts, because that's really the immune system is actually partially in the gut, or most of it is actually in the gut. So we want to make sure we're not causing extra stress, we're not causing blockages, things like that, by not moving through our waste properly. So we want to make sure we're having lots of good fiber. So like I was saying, chia seeds, lots of vegetables. The starchier vegetables are really great for this too. So sweet potatoes, squashes, things like that are really great to add extra fiber as well. So that's something we definitely want to focus on as well. So like I was saying, protein, fat, and fiber at every meal. Making sure you're getting lots of good vegetables in. I like to focus on the cruciferous vegetables because they are so high in amazing compounds that help detoxify the body and help us to fight illness. So things like broccoli, cauliflower. You've heard me probably talk about broccoli sprouts before, one of my absolute favorite foods. So I like to focus on adding these in, as well as keeping a wide variety of vegetables and fruits in the diet. So lowering our intake of refined carbohydrates as well is really great, because these actually really act like sugar in the body. So things like refined flours, so white flours, even pastas, pastries, things like this are really good to make sure we're cutting down on, and cutting out if possible, but just making sure that this is not the focus of our diet, and they're not staples in our diet. Meal planning can be super helpful when you're moving into the school year. So just getting a little bit of an idea going into your week, what you're gonna make, have maybe a list so that you're ready to go. You're not struggling every night to find what you're going to put on the table, and having some of that prepared in advance so that it's easy. Like maybe having your vegetables cut up so you can just grab them to steam them, or having a big pot of rice or quinoa cooked so you can add that and make some bowls. Having some proteins cooked in advance. So something I like to do often in the cooler months is to cook a chicken in my Instant Pot on Sunday for dinner, and then I'll have that extra meat to use for things like my daughter really loves a chicken quesadilla, or just to warm up and put on salads or put in a wrap. And as well, you can take that chicken, put the carcass back into your Instant Pot, and make put lots of nice add-ins in there, and make a really nourishing bone broth, which I use for so many different things. Sometimes I use it as a base to cook grains. I use it for soups. Sometimes I'll do like a bone broth based elixir, like a savory elixir to sip on, or even just to drink on its own. Is very soothing and really nice to have a bone broth on hand in case somebody in your house does get sick. It's very soothing and healing for the gut. So yeah, meal planning is great. This is something that if doesn't resonate with you, and you feel like you just don't know where to start with that, feel free. You can reach out to me. This is something I do sometimes for clients, is meal planning service with grocery lists and prep guides and things like that. So it can make it easier for you based on your dietary needs or preferences. Slow cooker and Instant Pot are things that I go to a lot during the school year to make sure I've got meals prepped maybe in advance, ready to go. So I just have to either turn that on when I get home, or if it's slow cooker, it's maybe ready to go when I get home, which is really great. Fermented foods are something that I absolutely love. So for most people, if you can tolerate fermented foods, there are a few people who can't. Fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso is a fermented food, yogurt. These are really great to add healthy bacteria into the gut. So those healthy bacteria help to fight off the bad bacteria or the inhospitable ones that come into our systems. So having a big variety of fermented foods, of healthy bacteria in our digestive system is going to help with our digestion. It's going to help our immune system. It's going to help with every aspect, really. So I do like to emphasize fermented foods. So this can be a tough one for kids if you haven't started your kids on any fermented foods as when they were really young. So if you do have really young kids, like babies or really young toddlers, I highly recommend giving them a little bit of sauerkraut juice. So like the brine that comes like on naturally fermented pickles or sauerkraut, giving them a spoonful of that every day just to get them used to the taste. But for those of you who haven't started that early on, and I know I didn't start that early on with my daughter, kind of dropped, or wasn't really maybe as educated about fermented foods at that point. Things like yogurt are really great. Most kids will tolerate that pretty easily, and we can always get some probiotics from a probiotic supplement as well. So those are some of my main tips when it comes to foods. I do think it is helpful to supplement. Sometimes the supplements kind of act as an insurance policy for us because we don't tend to get the nutrients we need in the quantities that we need from our food so much now. With depletion of soil, just maybe not being able to get the highest quality or freshness that we would have had maybe in the past when we were growing things ourselves and are, organic and not certified, but, things were always organic in the past. But right now we don't always have the options to have those. So even if the highest quality diet, I do like to recommend a little bit of supplementation. So this will kind of focus more specifically on our kids here so that you have a good idea of what some of the basics for our kids. So I do always like to recommend a high quality multi. Look for a really absorbable, high quality formula. Professional formulas are always probably worth looking at. Otherwise, we might not be absorbing our vitamins, so we want to make sure they're in the nutrients that are in there are in forms that our bodies can absorb. Otherwise, you're just having really expensive pee. You're kind of wasting your money by buying some of these cheaper supplements that aren't in absorbable forms. So again, you feel free to reach out if you have questions about specific ones or anything. So I like to recommend a quality multi. I like to emphasize, especially going into the fall now, vitamin D is really important for our immune systems. It's helps to fight cancer. It's just vitamin D it has so many functions in the body. And most North Americans tend to be deficient in vitamin D. So I do like to recommend a vitamin D supplement. Probiotics are really great to help the immune system as well as the digestive health. So helps with tummy troubles and helps with keeping digestion just fired up properly. And absolutely imperative for the immune system. So a good probiotic supplement, especially if you're not getting those fermented foods in every day, I think that's a really great supplement to add in. Fish oil. So especially for growing brains, I love to include a fish oil high in DHA. Really just helps that cognitive function. So that's something that I know I've done personally for my daughter for her whole life, and will continue to do, and something that I use personally daily as well. And going into cold and flu season, having a great quality vitamin C on hand. So like an ascorbic acid, something that's available to your body easily. So I like to get, I have one that's a powder. It's effervescent. It just mixes into water. So vitamin C is something, you can take this on a daily basis, but I sometimes with these other supplements, I don't always personally take vitamin C, but if I'm feeling something coming on, I will up my doses, and I will, or if I am sick, I will take lots of vitamin C to help to move that through my system faster. So vitamin C is something that you can take, you do excrete, it's a water soluble, so you do excrete it. So it's pretty hard to take too much because you'll just pee it out. And something that you can do with vitamin C is take it to bowel tolerance. So if you are feeling sick, take your vitamin C, keep upping your dose. But, if it's getting to the point that it's making you be a little bit kind of diarrhea-ish, then back it down a little bit. And that's your bowel tolerance. So vitamin C is definitely something I recommend having on hand, even if you're not taking it on a daily basis. So those are my supplemental recommendations. Of course, keeping really nicely hydrated, so making sure your kids are drinking lots of water, even if you have to flavor that up with a little bit of fruit, or sometimes we'll add a citrus essential oil to our waters. Just a single drop will flavor your water really nicely. That is a really great great thing to make sure you're focusing on, as well as keeping hydrated. Nice warm teas. Herbal teas are a big favorite. I know I will send a mug of a thermos of herbal tea with my daughter to school to sip on through the day. It's a little bit more appealing to her sometimes than a cold bottle of water, especially as the temperature drops. So a few of my favorite oils to support our kids going back into school and to support our households. Everything On Guard. So On Guard is a germ fighting blend. So amazing blend. I like to diffuse this every morning in the house during the school year. I'll mix it with a little bit of wild orange and a bit of peppermint. It's a beautiful diffuser blend that way. Just really uplifting, but it's got that nice cozy feeling with the cinnamon, the clove, everything that's all the warming oils that are in the On Guard, and helps to purify the air. So it helps to fight any germs if we've got any kind of buggies that we're carrying around. On Guard's a really great one to help with that. I will even add, if I feel like I've got something coming on, I'll add a drop to like a turmeric milk or a tea at night, and it's almost 100% always gone the next morning. So On Guard is a great oil to help fight germs. So there are a couple other products in the On Guard line that I absolutely love to have on hand. So there's On Guard sanitizing mist. So this is like, your sanitizing spray for your hands or surfaces, but it doesn't have any of the nasties in it that some of the chemical, almost all of the chemical sanitizers do. So if your kids have to sanitize at school, this is what I send with my daughter to school. It's really good for them to have, so they're not adding those, insult to injury by using lots of chemicals on their skin and breaking down their gut microbiome even more, or their good bacteria in the gut. So having an all-natural hand sanitizer is a really amazing thing to have on hand, especially these times when we're kind of forced to use it a little bit more than we would maybe otherwise have. And another, so I am absolutely loving roller blends lately. So these come pre-made from doTERRA, and I'm just gonna let you know, as I talk about these oils, I am talking specific to doTERRA essential oils. These are the oils that I know, love, and trust. I trust them for their purity. I completely aligned with how the company works. I absolutely love what they do for their communities that they work with, as well as just supporting the wellness of the world and as a whole. So I'm completely in love with their oils and the way they source them. So they do have a line of roller balls. So these come already diluted in some fractionated coconut oil. So they are ready to go. You can apply them directly onto the skin. So these are really, really easy to have on hand, especially great for kids because, you know, we don't want to necessarily be applying hot oils like On Guard directly to the skin. So using these rollers are really great. So if you have kids that want to apply them themselves, these are ready to go. So the On Guard Touch is a roller ball blend, which is really great to use directly on the skin. So I like to roll this on the bottoms of the feet if we're feeling a little funky, or down the spine to help support the immune system. If I feel something coming on my throat, I will rub it on my neck. So really, really simple to use, and your kiddos can empower themselves and use these as well. So On Guard they are products that I do not go without in my house. Some oils to support sleep. Serenity is a really great blend for sleep. Smells beautiful. It's got a bit of a sweeter smell than just a straight lavender. It's got some lavender in there, but it's got some vanilla in there, and it's got just a nice, beautiful blend. There's some cedar wood in there, really grounding, really helpful. So if your kids have a hard time unwinding at night, diffusing some Serenity is a great one. Lavender is another great one for sleep, and it's also really great for any skin conditions, so things like scarring, burns, even acne. Lavender is definitely, it's like the Swiss Army knife of oils, and definitely very safe to dab onto the skin as is, but you absolutely can dilute it with a bit of a carrier oil as well, like a fractionated coconut oil or jojoba, or even olive, anything you have at home as well will work. And that actually will help the oils to penetrate into the skin a little bit more, as well as stick onto the skin a little bit longer. So I always like to dilute a little bit, but sometimes lavender I'll dab directly on if I have a blemish, or if a burn, something like that. I put it directly on the skin without adding anything else. Tea tree is another great one. If you've got kids that are a little bit older, starting to kind of go through some changes, maybe some little pimples are popping up, Tea tree touch is a really great one as well. So it's just again, tea tree diluted into a rollerball blend, so you can apply it directly on the skin. Really great to put on any blemishes as your kiddos start to get to that stage of life. So that is another really great one to have. So another really great one to have on hand as we start to get a little bit of congestion, things like that happening, if your colds, flus coming on, is Easy Air. So Easy Air comes in a couple of different ways as well. There's the pure oil blend, which you can put into your diffuser to help open up the airways. It's a really amazing blend to open the airways. So it's got some eucalyptus, it's got some peppermint in there. It's just really sinus opening oils. So, and you can also get the Easy Air Touch. So these are really great to roll right onto the sinuses. So not right up into the eye area there, but just underneath the nose to help breathe a little bit more. This is a really great blend to use at nighttime if you've got kids that are stuffed up and are having a hard time sleeping because they're not breathing properly. Easy Air is a great one to have for that. doTERRA also has a really great kids collection. So we've actually really fallen in love with this. I hesitated on buying these for my daughter because she's a little bit older, and I just figured she was fine with the adult oils. But these are really, I'm actually absolutely loving these blends, and she really likes to use them as well. And she takes some of them to school, has them by her bed. Again, it's a really great way to just empower our kiddos to move towards natural wellness, and something that they can do to empower their own bodies and help their bodies to heal naturally. So of course, it's always great to start with these things before we looked into medical interventions for You know, that's there for when we need it, but always good to keep our bodies strong and healthy on our own first. So a few different ones. So I have a few of them here. I don't have them all. Steady is a roller blend that is really great for anxiety or nervous feelings. So if your kids are feeling a little bit anxious going back to school, that's a really great one. Or if, you know, things like a big event coming up, something like that. Tamer is the tummy blend. So this one's really great for motion sickness. It's great for any tummy troubles, so you can roll that right onto their tummies. It's great for an abdominal massage if they are feeling a little bit sick in their tummy. A really great one to have for anything tummy related. Thinker. This one is really great. My daughter keeps this one at school with her. Really great for focus, attention, alertness, clarity. So, you know, those times when they're feeling a little bit of a slump, you know, the school, the classes are lingering on, a little bit of that on the temples or on the wrist, the pulse points, wrist points, things like that will be really, really helpful. Calmer. So this is a favorite in our house before bed. This is really great to help with sleep. It's also really great for worry and stress and anxiety. So Calmer is one that I know we use all the time in our house. Brave is one that is really great for confidence. It's great for increasing confidence. It's good for courage. So really great maybe before a test or something like that, or if they've got like a speech that they have to do in school or presentation. Rescuer is really great for achiness. So this is a really great one for your active kids. It's good for growing pains as well. It's good for tension in the muscles. And Stronger is another one. So this one, they actually came out with a diffuser blend, limited edition, but you can also get it in the roller blends. This is great for wellness, vitality. It's good for skin irritations. It's a little bit kind of like a kid's version of a little bit like, not quite, it's not like On Guard, but it kind of has that effect that, you know, just increasing wellness and vitality. And also really great, like I was saying, if any skin scrapes or anything, cuts like that, things like that. So those are some of my favorite oils to include for kids' wellness. And like I was saying, I love these roller balls because they are easy for your kids to just grab them and go. You don't have to help them with them if they like to be a little bit more independent with those things, or you can apply them for them. Couple of so I was telling you about my On Guard diffuser blend that I love to use in the mornings. Also, if your kids come home, they have homework to do, something that's really uplifting, or if you are homeschooling, a couple of drops, 2 drops of each rosemary, peppermint, and wild orange are really great to uplift and help to create focus and attention. So that's about what I have to share with you for my favorite tips and tricks for school. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know below or DM me. I would love to answer any of those. I know there's only, so I didn't want to take too much of your time as we're getting back into that busy time of year, but I did want to share some things so you can arm yourself the best you can going back into that busy time. All right, everybody. Thanks for being on live with me. Those who are on live, oh, you're so welcome. And I will catch you, and anyone who's catching me on the replay, thanks for watching. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.